Welcome to another YCN Game of the Week brought to you by La Valley Building Supply. We're here at Fall Mountain Regional High School in Langdon, New Hampshire to watch a Division III battle between the Fall Mountain Wildcats and the Mascoma Royals. Now Fall Mountain heads into the game winless at 0-5, while Mascoma comes in with one win at 1-4, but both teams are better than their record shows. Fall Mountain, for instance, they lost a couple close games already this year by 7 points and 8 points respectively. Mascoma, kind of the same story. They've got a couple 8-point losses, but they did just get their first win last week, a 54-43 victory over Bow. So, you know, they're heading into this with a little bit of momentum. A couple players to watch. For Mascoma, number 5, Alex Schwartz is a junior guard, has done a lot of good things for the Royals so far this year. He's been leading the team in points. For Fall Mountain, we're going to be looking at number 24, Cameron Bushway, and number 33, Ryan Murdoch, both senior guards who have done a lot for this team. So Jeremy, you know, two teams that haven't had much to show for as far as wins this year, but two teams with a lot of talent and two teams better than their record shows.
Yeah, as you mentioned, both have more talent than their records show. They each start a few seniors on the court. The season is still relatively early. They are falling a little behind in the standings. This is one of those games where it can be used as a springboard. You get a win here, you can move forward, get a couple more wins, and get some confidence, so we'll see what happens tonight.
And to that point, I think these are two teams that both right now can smell blood. They both know that each other are struggling. So I think we're going to be in for an exciting close game here tonight. So stay tuned for starting lineups and tip-off from our YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week, brought to you by La Valley Building Supply. Let's turn it to the PA announcer for starting lineups for the Mascoma Royals.
Starting lineup for the Royals. Number 2, freshman guard, left guard, junior number 5, Alex Schwartz. Left guard, junior number 11, Going sophomore number 13, Gillian Dow. And at center, number 24, senior Jordan Keyboard.
And now let's get our starting lineup for the home Fall Mountain Wildcats.
Left guard, senior number 12, Tanner Walker. Left guard, senior number 24, Darren Bushway.
So we're set for tip-off here at The Den, as they call it, at Fall Mountain Regional High School. And like we said in the intro, both teams here, I think, can smell a little bit of blood, can sense that, you know, an opportunity for both teams here to get a win. A couple struggling programs right now.
Yeah, both teams going to start patiently. Don't try and force anything. Sometimes in the early going, after you've been winless or only one win on the early going, you try and force something. But you got to remember, the basketball is the same, the court's the same, just play your game.
And Tanner Walker making a strong move to the basket, but number 24, Jordan DeFord, 6'2" senior, making that shot difficult, getting a hand on it, and Mascoma with possession. That is a tall front line there for Mascoma, so it's going to be awful hard for the Wildcats today to kind of penetrate and get some easy hoops down low. It's Killian Dowd. Kicks it over to Alex Schwartz. He's a player to watch for Mascoma, but called with the travel there.
Some good defense by the Wildcats on that possession, really forcing Mascoma to play around the perimeter and not letting them penetrate at all. And then with the unforced error by the Royals.
And Schwartz comes up with the steal there. Nice little spin move off the glass, but can't get it to fall. Unfortunate little roll off the rim there. It looked like a nice move by Schwartz after the steal, but unable to get it to fall, and it's going to be Wildcats ball.
Very nice move. He was trying to draw a little bit of contact, but the defender just let him go with the spin move and couldn't quite convert. And then the Royals defender coming in a little bit aggressive on the rebound and tipping the ball. No foul on the last play, but did tip it out, going back the other way to the Wildcats.
Bushway with it now for Fall Mountain. Trying to create some space. Tough pass to handle for Bailey Cody. Gets it to Murdoch now. Now, Jeremy, we talked about it again in the intro. Mascoma had a win last week. They did lose in their last outing a couple days ago. But what does that do for a team's confidence, you know, winning last week against a team per se like Fall Mountain who hasn't gotten a win this season? Does it do that much for your confidence knowing that, hey, we got over that hump, we've got the one win? Are they coming into this game that much more confident than Fall Mountain?
I don't know if it's that much more, but I definitely agree that it is more confidence. You know that, hey, the end of the game, we had more points than the other guys. We held them, we beat them, we got one win. Now, obviously they're not thinking they're too cocky and they're going to, beat everybody, but it gives them a little bit more confidence, I do believe.
Schwartz off the front rim, a nice offensive rebound by Jordan DeFord, but he can't get his putback to fall, and that's going to be Fall Mountain ball. So we're going to take a quick break from our YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week, brought to you by LaValle Building Supply. I'm Mike Pizzone, joined by Jeremy Stout as always, and a slow start in the early goings here as neither team has scored yet.
Both teams getting a couple good looks, but also playing some really nice defense as we see the two-man sideline trap by the Royals, forcing the jump ball and the turnover.
Just a reminder to stay tuned near the end of our telecast for the H.R. Clough Kearsarge Heating Oil Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game.
And here's where Mascoma has really got to get something going. They've had some nice defensive stops, as we mentioned there, forcing a turnover, stealing the ball, but missing on the fast break. They've really got to move the ball around as they find an open man in the corner.
That was Devin Duhami coming up with a three-pointer. Nice find by Schwartz. Kick it out to the baseline, and the shot does fall. And that's going to be a foul on DeFord under the hoop. Not a shooting foul. They're going to take that out from the baseline. But like we touched on, two teams that maybe smell some blood, but still a slow start. A little bit of nerves, I'm sure.
And both teams playing a little bit of a zone defense in the early going, the last possession. Mascoma able to rotate it around enough to find the open man in the corner to hit the three, and that's what teams need to do. Is keep rotating the ball, keep it moving.
Ranger Wilson for Fall Mountain. Nice move to get to the hoop, but another tough bounce, and that one will not fall. Mascoma a little long on the three, but a good box out by Dakota Daycock. Although they are going to say that is out on Mascoma, so it will be Fall Mountain ball. Actually, the officials are going to talk about it for a second. And that is the call they're going to stick with. It will remain Fall Mountain ball.
Good hustle by both teams, and in the early going, we've seen that. We've seen some good hustle. We've seen rebounding, defensive play. Just haven't been able to find the bottom of the net.
And a nice steal by Duhami. Can't get that to fall, but a good pickup by Dakota Daycock. Gets it over to Schwartz. A man wide open under the basket, but he wasn't able to find him. Good defense like you touched on by Fall Mountain here. And it's obviously early in the going here, but Mascoma putting up a lot of three-pointers. It seems like they may be settling for that shot.
Yeah, they got a man open, and they're taking the shot. That's not always a good thing, especially if it's early. There's no shot clock, but early in the possession.
And Cameron Bushway bullies his way under the basket, gets the layup to fall and the foul, so chance here for the unconventional three-point play. And an opportunity to tie things up with about 4.5 to play here in the first quarter. Just a reminder to tune in every week for the River Valley and Kearsarge Chronicles for the who, what, where, and when shows of the region. They premiere at 7:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday right here on YCN, your local view.
Took 3.5 minutes for the Wildcats to get on the board, but because of their stifling defense, could tie it up right here.
Unfortunately, unable to do so, but able to get the rebound was Bushway. Nice pass under the hoop. Unable to handle it was Tanner Walker. A little wild under the hoop, but Schwartz comes away with it for the Royals.
A nice cut there by Walker, finding an open lane, just not able to handle the pass, and then kind of losing it underneath the hoop.
Another pass not able to be handled by Killian Dowd. Good ball movement by Mascoma. Another nice pass. And a nice mid-range jumper. That was his second basket of the game so far. And he's got all 5 points for the Royals at this point.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing, as you mentioned, good ball movement, and they found Duhaime open a couple times, and he's been able to take advantage of it, and it looks like he's going to be their guy. If he's open and the Wildcats are going to leave him open, he's not going to be afraid to shoot the ball.
As you see, a nice layup by Cameron Bushway. So he's got all 4 of Fall Mountain's points. But like you said, I think Duhaime may be benefiting from the extra attention they're paying to Schwartz right now, obviously doing a good job trying to mark him up, and I think that creates a little more opportunities for some of those other players.
Yeah, and at this level, you know, when you've got guys on the court, there's not one guy who's a defensive specialist or a rebounding specialist. Most of these guys, the coaches are going to let them shoot if they've got the open look, or if they feel like they can take it to the hole, they're going to let them go, and that's what Coach Jim Barry's been doing for the Royals, letting his shooters take some open shots.
And already a couple substitutions for Mascoma, whereas Fall Mountain still has its starting 5 on the floor. So it'll be interesting to watch the depth of these two teams and see how subs come into play. That was Kendall Heath, number 22, the sophomore forward, knocking down that mid-range jumper to give Fall Mountain the lead.
And just like that, they're back in the lead now after a couple nice possessions, and Mascoma coming up with a couple empty possessions on their end.
And just like that, Schwartz knocks down his first jumper of their game and puts Mascoma back ahead. So both teams starting to settle into a rhythm here. As Heath gets that knocked away out of bounds, and that's going to be Fall Mountain ball. Cameron Bushway set to inbound.
Yeah, as we talked about at the beginning, where both teams really, although they're struggling, they've just got to take their time, play, you know, possession basketball. Don't try and force anything. Don't try and do anything. And you saw that in the early going, where I don't know if it was the offenses kind of getting a little excited and a little too aggressive, or if it was the defenses that were really stifling. So give credit to the defenses. They started out really well, but now the offenses, they're both starting to get on a little bit of a roll.
Yep, I think you hit the nail right on the head there, as that ball was picked off by Schwartz. Schwartz going hard to the hole. Nice little move, and he gets that layup. So starting to see the speed and the handles of Schwartz like we talked about earlier, giving the Royals a 9-6 lead with about 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Just a reminder that coverage of today's game is being provided in part by LaValle Building Supply. As a nice, easy basket down low by Bailey Cody makes it a 1-point game. So things definitely starting to pick up, like you said.
Yeah, I think it was the 4:30 mark where Fall Mountain scored their first 2 points, and now they've scored 6 more in less than 3 minutes.
And Heath is going to be called for the foul. That's going to send number 3, Tyler Finley, to the line for 2. So an opportunity here for the visiting Royals to add to their 1-point lead late here in the first quarter. Finley knocks down the first.
And that's one thing that we saw in the last game of the week, Newport Stevens. The free throw shooting wasn't too superb. Obviously, in that game being a 21-point game, didn't come into play in that game. This game, you're probably going to see that bear out a little bit more late in the fourth quarter.
As Bushway with the ball now, hands it off to Walker. Ryan Murdoch, one of the few seniors on the team for Fall Mountain, gives it back to Bushway. Murdoch has the open 3. Back rims it, and a quick rebound by Tyler Warner. Quick up the floor for the Royals. But very good ball movement. I am impressed with the way that they're not hesitating, not holding on to the ball, and quickly moving it to that open player.
Yeah, it looks like Mascoma will put 3 or 4 guys on the perimeter around the three-point line, just kind of swinging around. Every now and then, somebody's going to cut into the middle. Somebody get down low, as you just saw down there. Unfortunately for Tyler Findlay, couldn't handle the pass, but he'll be underneath, but he'll also be outside the three-point line. They really do move the ball, and they move each other very well. It's not just stagnant offense, oh, let's just stand around and pass it around the perimeter. Let's make some passes and see what we can get open.
And you can see the way that Fall Mountain defense is really swarming Schwartz every time he comes near the ball. So it does kind of lend itself to being able to find that open man as we are under 1 minute to go here in the opening quarter.
And the same token, the Mascoma Royals on defense, as we just saw, a 2-man pressure in the backcourt.
As Bushway gets that to fall. Finally a friendly roll on the rim for the home team after having a couple lip out there. Much like every putt that I take within 4 feet. Schwartz with it now. Oh, and a steal from Bushway. He's trying to take it coast to coast. Draws the contact and gets the foul. So he's going to go to the line for 2 after a quick break from our YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week, brought to you by LaValley Building Supply. We're here at Fall Mountain Regional High School with the score knotted at 10-10 with 18.9 seconds left in the first quarter, and Cameron Bushway on the line for 2. Bushway knocks down the first, gives the Wildcats their second lead, I believe, of the game so far.
Bushway adds to his game high total, 7 points he's up to. 1 for 2 from the line, and he's hit 3 field goals.
And he gets that to fall as well, so the home team boasting a narrow 2-point lead right now in the final seconds of the opening quarter.
See how Mascoma handles this final possession. As we talked about, they swing it nicely around the perimeter. Right now they have all 4 of the 5 guys outside the three-point line trying to find somebody open.
And Tukaki in and out once again, and that looked good for a long time, but does not fall through the net. And that's going to do it for the first quarter, with Fall Mountain leading 12-10 over the 1-4 Royals. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have second quarter action from the YCN Game of the Week.